Try to keep this one brief. So, most folks operate life in an unconscious manner. You have superconscious, self conscious, unconscious, subconscious, not linear and literal, but in my interpretation, all of that is dripping down. And in the unconscious level, there's at the very foundation of that, there's a book of belief. There's your core belief structure. And that is what must be expanded for you to be able to properly grow. And that affects your vibration. Your vibration connects to a frequency. That frequency then sends information and basically proliferates the size and ambiance of your aura, your resonance, which is what reflects as your world. And all that seeps down into your subconscious projects it out. Now, most folks in the unconscious level are just operating in full manner unconsciously without the self-conscious or the superconscious sitting as the aware and seeping in and looking at it. So the exterior screen is what is seen as the events of life. And most everybody is connected to a greater collective unconscious neural network like Beehive, and there's a frequency, and that's a safety net. So in our lifetime, it's been a repetition of fear, and we're in a time between times, like a changing of ages. But this collective unconscious is actually a safety net because it keeps your lack of ability or your trial and error of your internal vibration from connecting to a frequency that's too low or too high. So if you pay attention, everybody's following this whisper of whatever all of society says is the next thing to look at and take the next step towards. And then everybody has like one of three opinions of which side is right, but everybody's going the same direction. They don't know that they're doing that. It's because they're serving the collective unconscious, because the collective unconscious gives them the place within themselves because they're not aware of their own unconscious to remain in a safety net. So that unconscious is not being made aware of on a consistent basis and a breath to breath basis of most individuals. So they're seeing life as this screen, say screen number 2, and they think it's screen number 1, and they're not even aware that it's a screen, really. But I mean your phone, but I also mean like literally the walls and trees of your life. Everything. It's all light dancing as density. And so this screen of life appears as screen number 1. But what's actually occurring is that there is a screen back here that's screen number 1. And this is, for lack of a better term, your feelings, your derivatives of all of your inner state, your core beliefs, your core thoughts, the things of your life that you don't realize your interior position is holding on to tightly with both hands, the ropes that control you. They're all the programming, your personality. It's all right here in screen number 1. And so everything that flows through you as life is energy flowing. This is all explanation of mind, but this place is also functioning as mind. So everything that flows through you is being represented on this screen number 2 as life, reflecting back to you. And most don't see that because they are all in one storm of life as the frequency of the collective unconscious, not good or bad. And as that occurs, it appears as that is screen number one. And it never occurs to most to actually look at what is actually occurring outside or within themselves. As body follows mind, this place follows the projection of your energy. So, screen number two appears to those as the collective unconscious as screen number one. Now, there's actually the screen number one that's inside you. And the key is to not try to see this first, but to close your eyes and separate from this, because this is here to provide you with feedbacks and you have to be able to see it. Now, this screen can only be seen on black light. You have to, you don't have to, but I suggest you go in and close your eyes and take out a black light or your third eye, calm yourself, breathe. Allow yourself to go through the process of letting go of those ropes that you're holding on to so you can have just a moment of, and when you actually do it 12 times or whatever it takes, when you actually get yourself to that, and there's not that pressure of presence of performing up to the internal expectations that you have of what everyone else, the collective unconscious, will expect you to be, you'll have that little opportunity to see, well, how can I follow that back to what the feeling was, back to what the ambiance of self was, back to what the question was, back to what is my greatest desire, my greatest hope, or all the little things I haven't addressed about myself, my core belief structure of the things I have to overcompensate for. What if I'm not enough in some area? And usually, a lot of that is feels like you talking to someone else, and then that will, or you desire it to be, or you desire it not to be projected onto this external screen. But in this internal screen, the truth is there's nobody in there but you. And there is no actual conversation going on. It's just a loop of all of those different attributes popping up. Some type of feedback is available, and then it's like, oh, self-doubt, or overcompensate, or make fun of somebody else, or be irritated at all the overwork that you have to do to just be enough, so that you don't feel that on the external screen. And you'll see how so much of what appears out here is what you're hiding in here. For the You shouldn't act or function or be completely open as yourself in a certain way because it will make others comfortable out here in the events of life. And so you're mostly continually suppressing yourself in a very subtle manner, because you're attempting to fit into a thing that's providing you safety, which is the collective unconscious. And everybody's doing this. So if you go in and you breathe and you let go and you release these ropes, you'll be able to perceive that there's nobody in there but you and your inner programming, your architect, your author. And now in that mechanism, it's you and, say, God, or the creative general principle of love, which is how I perceive it. Then you, as you meditate, you go through this functionality, or just breathing and perceiving this over and over and over. You have to, I suggest that you close your eyes and breathe. That's all you got to do. And the more you let go, the more space you have to be the real you, or the real you embodied. The more that you can be the real you embodied and breathe and not go back into this, I got to be this personality, this thing, the more you can actually go through the process of slowly opening your hands and letting the rope slide through and just let go. If you actually get yourself to the place of completely letting go, you can perceive that there is this external screen, that there is the more causal program of the you internal screen. So, screen number two, screen number one, external real life, internal program life. And it's unconscious, right? This becomes self conscious, but it operates on the unconscious of everybody. Or if you separate the unconscious, only of you. But they're both primarily unconscious. Just one is in density. So you have these two unconscious screens, one inside you that nobody else can see, one outside that everybody's kind of sharing. And then when you fully let go, you have the opportunity to see, and there's also the real me embodied. So the core essence of me that is functioning as kind of a an energy form that is attempting to master this process. How does this process function? This process of embodiment. And so that's all of a sudden you're realizing that's the real you here embodied. So now there's the third thing that you're becoming aware of. The more you breathe, the more you let go. You're still aware of the screen, but the screen is less important to you. And you're more aware of this entire process, maybe 5, 10, 12 minutes. You're breathing, eyes closed, just letting go. Big breaths. So you become aware of that third stage, which is the core you, being aware of the first screen, which is like the program and the personality of you, being also aware at the same time of the external screen of life here, mind density. And then eventually you can become aware of, well, there's a greater you, your connection to creation, love, the beyond, the greater mind, whatever layers want to get laid in there. But those are basically the four layers. And the most one of the most important things that anybody can ever do is come to the realization that yes, you are participating in causing everything. There's, in my opinion, themes, and then there's the things that arise from the themes that are written. So you're writing the way that the themes that are written for you are going to be expressed in the same way that your vibration is affecting what is written in your DNA, expressing in a myriad, a million different ways. Um, you know, diseases and stuff aren't genetically fixed. They are predominantly a revolving vibration that shows up as the same thing because, well, epigenetics, but because we are running the same types of programs, same subsets of a collective unconscious. So one of the most important things anybody can ever do, I guess in this time between times, because I don't want to describe like everything forever, because I don't know that, is become aware on a consistent basis of the obviousness of the external, but that there's more going on there than that, and remembering that that is screen number two, and to follow that back to screen number one, which is only you in there, not you talking to your high school friends about what should have been or some. It's just watching how your emotions and your chemicals arise and why they're arising, to be able to watch yourself without allowing the chemicals and the emotions, but also living in the love of I'm a little bit separate from that, and now it's even more fun. It might feel scary for a second, but eventually you realize it's so much more fun to see more of life by being able to see myself, and then you have more space inside you, and you have the opportunity then to connect more with the real you, with love, with whatever anyone is desiring to describe these other layers at your spiritual essences. So look at screen number two, the external world. I'll take a brief intermission. Now, so if you look at screen number two, the external world, you could train yourself or attempt to take this perspective on and see if it fits for you. Look at it as if it's always a blessing or a blessing in disguise, because it is refracting or reflecting information back to you. And when we're immersed in it, it seems like it's all just this one thing, but it is just one flow of energy, but it will allow you to begin to remember that you are watching it as it flows through you. So it's sending you the message back of what you are. So the external screen being a blessing, screen number two, this place as density can lead you very easily, if you just start to ask it, back to screen number one, which is inside you. And then that screen is showing you all the places that you likely can address to be able to expand and let go of, expand and let go of, so that those things that you're here to address can get checked off, and that more things will show up, and you can continue to grow yourself internally from that mechanism. And as you do that and you allow yourself more space internally, then you can live in a closer manner with the external and the internal and your core self all separate and all connected as one. So it provides you more opportunity for you to get into the flow of being you without getting stuck in reaction. And everybody is almost always in some form of just got out of or just about to go into or trying not to be stuck in reaction. Because that's just kind of the loop of energy that the collective unconscious functions on. It's a predictable reaction. It's repetition of fear. Doesn't have to be, but it's pretty common. So being able to see your third self, the you sitting there as what's called the observer, gives you opportunity to see your inner screen of required growth, your emotions, your programming. And I mean, you can use this even in an argument. Like, it feels like it's just this one thing or this other person or whatever giving it back to you, and you can't believe they said that, or doesn't matter what it is. If you practice it, you can see yourself watching the internal thing. Oh, yeah, I see where that's going. I see it's predictable. I've seen it before. Now I see how it feels, but I'm not it. I'm not Because I can see it, I'm not controlled by it. You can only be controlled by it if you stop looking at the internal screen. You turn off the black light. It goes black and it's a control, and now it's pointing at the external screen only in reaction. If you're looking at both of them, you're not controlled by them anymore. But then you have to go to the place of really being yourself and start to grow your inner self. And as you do that, you have more and more access to connect with love, the beyond, your your actual true self of the great spirit of you, divine limitless spirit energy. So, or your soul, however, whatever layer anybody wants to put it on. So just attempt to look at the external screen as a blessing giving you messages. Attempt to take that back in a, it can be long form, but eventually it will become brief, in a manner to realize what's written in here in your screen. What attributes are you here to address? How is that going? And make it easier on yourself to breathe and calm down and make friends with both screens. And just like it's a checklist, just go down the list of making it a process in which these things get checked off. And then this becomes more, the external screen becomes more enjoyable, becomes more of a movie that you like watching and not a movie that is a consistent frustration. And you internally experience freedom and you have more of yourself because this thing operates on amount of spinning energy. So the more you expand your belief structure, the more you operate through forgiveness and love, the larger you can become. Not that that's better or worse, but it has more flux, more space for energy. Therefore, there's more opportunity for the real you or love or whatever it is to flow into you, and you become more and more empowered as you're getting closer to achieving your mission and living as your true self and shining your real light. So, and hence, stop reacting, start breathing, start closing your eyes, and start witnessing the external and the internal screens, and then find the joy of actually benefiting your own existence and all existence here by growing what you're meant to grow inside. And it's all unconscious. If you don't do that, that which you don't address will overcome you. And you'll be hiding from it forever. And you'll think everything I just said is silly. Waste of time. But if you do go through the process of doing it, you'll see that you have no limits if you master that. I love you forever. Primum Voltus Interior.